Good morning, everyone. It is 7/12/2026. We are in Vermilion, Ohio, and we are on the NS Chicago line watching some trains for the first time. Here's an NS Manifest going eastbound, our only train we would see here until we move to Huron. As I had said before, we moved to Huron, Ohio, or just east, and this is a NS Manifest led by a CSX unit. Our next stop was in Sandusky, Ohio at the Amtrak station. Here we saw NS L15 intermodal train only across Ohio, leaving the Sandusky yard. This train had a friendly engineer on the front and was pretty slow, so I'm going to speed this one up for y'all. That was the only train that was actually going really slow. Our next train was an NS intermodal train going eastbound. You could easily tell that this train was at track speed because it was hauling. I had two main chase targets for today. One of them was NS 1069, the Virginian Heritage Unit. It was trailing second of two on NS 257. Now, the other target of this trip was NS 8183, the Chicago Heritage Unit. It was leading on an NS Manifest train, and I decided that I was about to leave. I actually packed up my tripod and put it in the car, but then I saw headlights, and I was like, may as well see it. And I'm glad I stayed for it. On both of those heritage units, the camera quality on my video wasn't the best, and I could have done a lot better, and I know the changes that I have to make for the next time. However, this one is an NS auto rack train heading westbound. It also had a rear DPU on it, so that was pretty cool. We also went to Sandusky Bay, Oak Harbor, and another spot where we would somehow only get one train, well, two. One of them I didn't record, and the other one had bad lighting and was too far away that I couldn't see it. So now we're in Fostoria, and there is a Manifest train all the way over there. When we had arrived at Fostoria, I had heard an NS horn. However, I did not expect it to be an NS local train. I don't know the symbol to it, but it had a very nice leader with a great horn. This train would also come back later with some different items on it. The next train we saw caught me by surprise. It was another CSX manifest train. I thought it was on the NS tracks, but I realized that there was a crossover just west of Fostoria that I had completely forgotten about. Again, another train caught me by surprise. This was the same NS local train that I was talking about earlier, with an SD40-2 leading, not the SD40-3 as earlier, NS 1638. I spent the entire trip making myself a list of every single train symbol that I got. This one was another CSX manifest train, however this one was going westbound. CSX M367. This next train would also be another NS local train, a completely different one because it had different units on it, as it would make sense, actually one unit. This one had a decent horn to it. It reminds me a little bit of NJT. Our next train was somehow our first intermodal at Fostoria. It was westbound I-009. Our next train was an NS intermodal train. It was going at some low speed, however I did not expect it. It was really hard for me to run from one side of the rail park to another when I realized that it was not CSX and it was NS. I mean, it wasn't hard for me to run because I can run, but still, it was annoying. At this point of the recording, my phone with all the train symbols died, so I have to resort to just normal commentary, not very exact symbols. This is a CSX intermodal train led by the C and EI Heritage Unit, Chicago and Eastern Illinois, CSX 1877. Anyway, this video is meant to specifically finish off what we saw in Ohio. So, this is a eastbound manifest train through Deschler, Ohio the next morning. Now, I'm gonna have to skip to about halfway through this video where we would see a CSX manifest train again on the southeast Y. This train, of course, had to go really slow because the eastbound manifest train was blocking the track that it was going to go on. So it was pretty cool to see it stop, even though it would create for a longer video once it was about to depart. I'm not going to show that because it's 11 minutes long, and that's how far we are into the video right now. Anyway, the last train that we saw at Deschler, well, I didn't want it to be my last, but I had to decide on it, was a manifest train again. This time it was auto racks only. I assume out of Detroit, Michigan, because that's where most auto racks come out of. It was going north to south at a decent speed. Now it's time to explain why we left Deschler so early. I had planned to be at Deschler until about 9 o'clock, however we left around 7. The reason we left there was because NS 8100 was on a westbound grain train toward Indiana. However, I thought it would pass way late in the night before. It did not. It stayed near Columbus, and we were able to catch it. It was still decently far away, and we got to Leipzig early enough to see NS 28N, an intermodal train from Chicago, Illinois to Charlotte, North Carolina. This train, however, had something that I did not expect on it. It was another heritage unit, trailing second of 3, and this is what kind of shaped our whole morning. Yep, the Wabash Heritage Unit 1070. It was trailing second of 3, as I said, on NS28N, as I also said. We had to wait for 8100 still, but we would somehow see this again on our way back east. As I had realized before with 1070, the lighting was off, so I had to deal with a shot of 8100 with also a bad turn of the tripod. Anyway, what I had said before about 1070 was that we would see it again. This was just outside Bellevue, Ohio, to the west on the same 5-story subdivision. This has way better lighting than before, and again, it is not the last time we see it. It is picking up speed. I am over on the other side of the train. I was taking photos of it when it abruptly took off, so I had to rely on my dad on taking this video. He did a great job. And again, I said that we would see this train one more time. This is in the Ohio countryside with all the plants, whatever they were growing, I don't know. This is when we actually got to see it at some speed. I don't know how fast it was, maybe 50, 60, or I'm just completely off and a dumbfound idiot. We then decided to take a little break on our day and go to a racing shop in Sandusky, and we followed that by going out to lunch in Vermillion, Ohio. where we would see our next train. This was, I believe, 22X and intermodal from Chicago to Cross, New Jersey. It was going at decent speed, but there is no horn because you can't honk the horn in Vermilion. Anyway, this next train that we saw was the dream of any foamer. And just to clarify, I am not a foamer. Do not mix me up with a foamer. Please, I am not a foamer. I just watch trains. Anyway, this is another eastbound intermodal train with 4002, the AC to DC conversion unit, and a CN unit on the back. They were both trailing, and there was just another MS unit leading, but like nobody cares about it, so womp womp. Anyway, this is where we took another break for. This took about 4 to 5 hours of our day, so now we ended up back at Fostoria for the evening. This is a NS Manifest train coming down from Detroit. And it was very slow. It was 15 minutes long, and I'm not going to show it because, again, 15 minutes long. This next train was an eastbound CSX Manifest, also having a single leader on it. This would be our second train with a single leader. Second train of 2 trains. Very interesting to start my evening. Anyway, this train, I did not have my symbol sheet once again, so I was sadly not able to read the symbol. However, I remember very well that that train that we saw was the counterpart to the last train we saw. So it was going on the Y north toward Detroit and wherever other places it can go, so I don't know about that. This next train that we saw was a CSX Intermodal that would lead that westbound parade of intermodals like we saw in Berea, Ohio, and the day before. So 3 days in a row at night with that parade of intermodal trains. And this next train had not much cars on it. 2 units to, I think it was like 8 cars. I don't know. I'm too lazy to count myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars on it. Wow, that's very pathetic. And the next train that we saw was a CSX Manifest heading eastbound. It had some grain hoppers on the front. Also forgot to mention that it's another single leader. Wow! This next CSX train would prove why there was an eastbound parade of Manifest trains. However, this one had LTEX 1524. It was going toward Selkirk, so it could be shipped up on M426 toward Maine. This next train that we saw was a CSX westbound Manifest. However, it had a YN2 trailing on it. I believe that was the first YN2 that I had seen the entire trip, which I would consider a surprise because YN2s used to be very common. Now, they're not as common, and they're pretty cool to see, but cool, whatever. You can kind of now tell that it's starting to get darker. This is a CSX intermodal train that I had to rush out for. It was going eastbound. Now, I thought we were not going to get an NS train this whole night. However, we got an auto rack train with a great horn. I am not a horn expert, so I don't know what it was. If you want to comment it down below, thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Anyway, NS auto rack train headed westbound. Caught a lot of people by surprise, including me. However, I'm very happy that I got to see it. Anyway, the next train that we would see was a westbound ethanol train headed towards Cicero, Illinois. I don't know the symbol, but I would assume it's Cicero because we got BNSF units for, I think, like the second time this whole trip. So, wow, thank you, CSX. Very nice of you. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, like and subscribe, maybe even share it. I would really appreciate it. As always, I hate having to tell you guys to, but only 3.7% of my viewers are subscribed. However, that's fine. I enjoy doing this job. I don't really get paid for it that much, so cool. Here's a video of Big Boy. If you really want to see everything that we saw with Big Boy, watch my video on Big Boy. It is on my channel page up now, and it is also the introduction or whatever video to my channel, so you can just go right onto my channel and click the video. Make it much convenient for you guys. Anyway, like and subscribe, that's all I really gotta say, so bye!